Elizabeth McDonald. And with me are Carolyn Giesbrecht and Ian Robb. We are all retired United Church ministers living within the region of East Central Ontario. But we are not alone. It turns out there are quite a few of us. Carolyn, how many retired ministers are there?
Well, actually, there are about 180. So that's a lot of experience and wisdom to share.
Absolutely. And as we live into and get used to this new region, there is within the region something that we haven't had before, something called the Retirees Forum. Ian, what's the hope? What's the vision behind the Retirees Forum?
Well, as Carolyn has just said, the 180 ministers who've shall we say, hung up their cassocks and are perhaps, like myself, not liking twiddling their thumbs at home. There's lots to do. We're living in a world of extreme need at the moment, particularly in our area with a second wave of pandemic coming forward. So I'm hoping that by having this forum and generating this forum, that we can reach out to the 180 ministers in this area and get some ideas about, certainly about the church, about their spirituality, about things that the church can be doing in moving forwards, because we live in a different age now. We're not living in the 1940s or the 1950s. And the experience with the 180 ministers that Caroline mentioned is massive. So let's get them talking about it. Let's get them sharing their hopes and dreams for the future. Perhaps talking about chaplaincy and how they support others in hospital, etc. But this is only one of 16 regions. Can you imagine how your outreach, Elizabeth, can be tapping into some of the other regions and having some dialogue with them? And from my point of view, it just doesn't have to be ministers alone that we talk to. There can be other very, very interesting people that can share a vision, share their hopes and dreams, and how we can move forward. So how about yourself, Elizabeth? What is your hope for the Retirees Forum, and what's Carolyn's hope for the Retirees Forum?
Well, I know that Elizabeth is working on a particular project. Can you tell us about that, Elizabeth?
Yes, well, Ian, as you've said, and Carolyn as well, the retired ministers in our region hold in their minds, in their memories, in their hearts, decades and decades of experience with United Church ministry and mission, United Church life, and they have some wonderful stories. So the project I have in mind would be to sit down with ministers, and probably during the pandemic, it's going to be in a virtual way, just as we are connecting here on Zoom right now, and have some conversation where ministers can share their experience, their insight, and their wisdom. And I'm convinced that other ministers and other folks in the church, that there will be much to draw on, much to learn from. There will be ways in which we are engaged. These stories are going to make us laugh and cry, and hopefully remind us of the presence of the Spirit and the power of the gospel in these unprecedented times where so much is changing all around us. That these stories, these memories of where we've been are going to be a tremendous resource as we continue to figure out, what does it mean to be the United Church of Canada in the 21st century? What does it mean to engage in ministry and mission? So I think sharing some stories is going to help us all as we move forward in these challenging times. Carolyn, do you have hopes or dreams for this retirees forum?
Certainly, I see many opportunities to hear from retirees and other people throughout the church for things that they're involved in, things that they've done, and yeah, it's exciting.
It is exciting. There's lots going on. So please stay tuned. We will be back soon with so much more to share. Ian Robb, Carolyn Giesbrecht, thank you so much. I'm Elizabeth McDonald.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Ian.
And Carl.